I saw this, which I thought was pretty revealing. The vast majority of Republican voters are, I think, largely stupid and misinformed, driven in many cases by hate, but in a lot of cases, I think, by an animosity towards the legitimate corruption of the system, very susceptible to propaganda, that sort of thing. Having seen them like in real life for a decent amount of my life, you know, having like been exposed to the way they behave, I genuinely just think that a lot of them are really discontented, and they've been easy to pick up on, via those propaganda channels. There was recently a New York Magazine story that I thought was quite funny. Here, look. The cruel kids table, out late with the young right as they contemplate cultural domination. Good luck with that. For our latest cover story, Brock Collier reported on the young, gleeful, confident, and casually cruel Trumpers who, after conquering Washington, have their sights set in the rest of America. So these, of course, aren't like regular Republicans. I mean, they're in dinner jackets. These are like, trust fund kids, Nepo babies, little Ivy League freaks, you know what I'm talking about. Casually cruel is wild. Can't you tell by looking at them? You know exactly what you're looking at. You're looking at the same kind of people who would go to like Epstein parties, I don't know, that the Grove, Bohemian Grove type shit. Just like, freaks who fall into power via money and assume because of it. It's like Great Gatsby stuff, basically. I mean, that social caste has never gone away, and it's always been right bent. The rich? Well, not just the rich, I'm talking about like a very specific kind of the rich, but you get me. For the most part, these people are losers. I've actually had the privilege a few times in my life of interacting directly with people who are like this, just through like there's an academic conference, or you talk to them at like a mutual party, you know them through a conference or whatever. I don't even think they were conservative, the ones that I talked to. For the most part, they're airheads with an extremely strong sense of entitlement to whatever it is that they were born with. That's basically like the gist of it. It's not that complicated. You might notice like basically everyone in this photo is white. I don't think that's an accident here. There's the quote. This is the quote that I saw that keyed me onto the article here. Because 6 months into Biden being president, I was like, I can't do this anymore, says a 19-year-old New Yorker who once quite literally had blue hair and attends Marymount Manhattan, which he describes as, quote, 75% women and 23%. That's probably true. Real, fact-checked by real American patriots. He had supported Biden as a 16-year-old, but, quote, I hate watching the things I say. I took a much farther horseshoe around this time. Later, a former Bernie supporter, who looked like the most Bernie-supporting person one could imagine with the long curly hair and a plaid shirt, told me the same. He wanted the freedom to say and retarded. This is one of those slices of the pie where people are going to be tempted to come up with some really, really, really in-depth analyses of why they are the way they are. But I'll tell you why. They're weak-minded, empty-headed socialites who follow trends and are really susceptible to pressure from their environment. When they were young, during COVID, they had a lot of time to spend on social media, and they were left-leaning because of it. And now that they're, getting older, getting into college, getting a little bit more free to spend the money their parents give them, now they're conservative. It has nothing to do with material conditions, really, in like what interests them or what they could make more money off of kind of way. It's literally just the desire to fit in. It's a kind of weakness that, like, I think a lot of people are subject to, but in their case, people are going to go like, oh, no, it's not their desire to fit in. It's actually like this really complicated and interesting sociological phenomena. Dude, it's just people trying to fit in, man. People are really alienated these days, and that includes these guys. You want to know something? I'll tell you something that you can't tell just by looking at these photos. A lot of the people you're looking at right here are lonely motherfuckers who don't know how to connect to people. It's always been like that. Wall Street parties, it's always been like that. Now it's even worse than it used to be. Sure, you've got them here at a party. They're having a good time. A lot of these folks, they look handsome. I'm sure they're around. I'm not saying they don't. But they're bad at connecting to people, like a lot of young people are. Most of the people on, you're looking at right here are at least 5 years younger than me. I feel some degree of, expertise, at least with regard to like this age range, like what you're going through when you're in that period. And it's only gotten worse with COVID, man. A lot of these people are just lonely and not very good at socializing. So what happens when a lonely and socially alienated person, especially one with a lot of money and connections, goes to college and starts being able to drink at parties? All of a sudden, you've got Patrick Bateman, baby. No, not fascism. Take it one step back. You've got Patrick Bateman. You've got a bunch of empty-headed, socially malleable dipshits running around taking shots, loud, abrasive. They'll do what they need to do to fit in. They're chameleons, you know? And because they're chameleons in an environment full of, you know, Nepo babies, they turn into Trump supporters. That's it. It's that simple. Here, these photos are phenomenal, okay? Look at these. These were being celebrated by Trump supporters, okay? Look at this. Take an arc peek. I love this, the underlighting here. You getting a feel for this? You understand? I'm not here to do like art analysis, but are you getting a feeling from these that the photographer did not like these kids? Can you get that feeling? HDR was a mistake. It was a deliberate choice in this one. If you wanted to make this look fun, you would blur the photos a little bit. They look like antagonists. They look like antagonists. They do. Look at this. The underlighting, so you have these big shadows above them, not ones that they're casting down to signify that they're powerful. The shadows here are meant to make them look larger than they actually are, i.e., it's a mirage. You've seen this in cartoons, right? A big shadow comes marching down the hall, then you round the corner and it's just a little guy and the light's making them look bigger. It's meant to make them diminutive. Beer stain here, the HDR in the photo making everyone look uncanny, kind of unreal, like you're in a dream, you know? It's not meant to flatter these people. And they're all like, and these people are a dime a dozen. They're all like vapid, sociopathic, you know, 20-somethings, maybe not even 20-somethings. They're all separate as well. Yeah, you don't see much in the way of, ugh. Like this, okay, let me tell you this, okay? I'm not a photographer. If I was, and I took a photo like this and published it, it would not be because I like this woman. Does that make sense? How about that? You're taking thousands of photos, maybe, you know, hundreds at least, at an event like this. Now the comments, the person here who's posting these photos is a fascist, so doesn't understand art well enough to understand like the point of these photos. The lighting and everything makes these perfect. The oldest president ever brought forth the most youthful political movement in American history. Right. Yeah. Look at these, man. This is not flattering. It's people looking at this and thinking this is meant to be flattering, you'd be watching like The Wolf of Wall Street and coming across like, man, what a great guy. But fascists and the ability to properly analyze art, you know, I know. What is it you say about evil being shown in the face? I'm a strong believer in this. Yes, 100%. Maybe you're overthinking it. No, not at all. The photographer absolutely 100% meant to frame this in a Gatsby-esque way. Vapid Nepo babies sitting on like faux expensive furniture, spilling drinks on themselves, laughing obscenely. No one actually seems to be close or connected. They all look like they're more interested in status and appealing to the group than they are in actually connecting with one another. They're all performing and acting for the group rather than interacting direct. You can believe what you want. You can believe what you want. I'm sorry, okay? Pardon me, all right? I'm being very liberal right now. I'm being very, you know, let's analyze the art. What, you know what they say about the media literacy people? They say they like cock. And boy, are they right in this case. I think people are going to read into this more than they need to, is the point that I'm trying to get at. Can you imagine trying to derive some kind of broader sociological point if you exclusively looked at these, like, you know, Republican Nepo baby dinner parties after every election? You could have done this at any year. You could have done this after Reagan. You could have done this after Bush. These parties were happening after all of them. All the children of the powerful people mixing together. It's always been like this, right? So why pretend now that it's representative? You know why? Media consensus, okay? Manufactured consent. Trump won by like 1.5% of the vote. Now we're going to pretend that actually this is America. This is America now, apparently. I mean, I tell you, if I was buying in on Trump propaganda over the past like 10 years, this looks like the most anti-American thing I've ever seen in my life. Isn't this like coastal elitism? This shit ain't happening in Oklahoma, okay? I only read a few paragraphs of this, and I don't want to read the whole thing because that would take a while. Oh, here's the bit we just saw, or here's the bit we saw from the screenshot in the tweet. This is true coastal elitism? Yeah, here. We'll read just a teeny bit. How about just a teeny little itsy bitsy bit, okay? Conservatives used to be uptight, but the left has become the funless, sexless party. Not that the right is the party of sex necessarily. We have fun, says a 31-year-old influencer, Arin Wexler. What is a 31-year-old influencer doing talking about sex at this party full of like fresh college students? What does a conservative even look like anymore? The boys just want to have fun. The writer of this article is trans, apparently. Oh, nice. I've heard about those people. Even up until the election, many liberals who still thought of themselves as the owners of mainstream culture dismissed this scene as fringe, and it is unclear who is seriously serious about their beliefs and who is a grifter doing it for the bit. I promise you, most of the people at this party don't know either. They're performing for an audience, you know? Doesn't show the images because of the so on and so forth. They're trying to be popular. Casual cruelty is a big, like, virtue signal in group, in conservative circles. The ability to show you really do not give a about trans people or immigrants or whatever else. It's very performative. They do it for each other, not necessarily like as an honest or genuine expression of what they believe. Performative cruelty isn't new, you know? I've always maintained that in order for the left to be successful, it needs to be fun. No political movement can ever win unless it's fun. And by fun, I don't mean like irresponsible necessarily. I don't mean inaccurate. I don't mean dishonest. I don't mean juvenile. I mean that you need to be energized by it. It needs to give you something to believe in. You need to wake up and feel like in an affirmative sense, like I want to believe in this. Bernie Sanders did that. People who liked Bernie were proud to like Bernie in a way that people who liked Hillary were not proud to like Hillary for. You know what I mean? Like, there were people who liked Hillary, but the kind of support you saw, nothing even close in terms of like the direct and the energetic and the so on, you know? No one was proud of Hillary. People might have supported Hillary, but pride for Hillary? That's an embarrassing position. I wanted Hillary to win over Trump. Was I ever proud for a moment to want that? No, it was just like a utilitarian calculus kind of thing. Had Bernie won over Trump, I would have been proud for the rest of my life to have supported that. For the rest of my life, I would have been insufferable about it. You give people something to believe in, and they'll talk about it forever. And that's the free energy. This article is getting reported by all right publications trying to claim it's being slammed. Look up New York Magazine, go to News Tab and Google. Oh, I know a lot of people are very mad about this article because it's kind of like pointing a mirror or like directing a mirror towards the sociopathy of this particular group of people. You know, what are you going to do about it? Anyway, you get the gist of it, I suppose. I do really recommend you guys take a read of it, though. I really do. This reminds me of the show Succession. I keep hearing that from people who have watched Succession. Trying to see if there's a particularly funny paragraph here that I can scan. Yeah, that'll do it. Just minutes away, a more familiar scene of MAGA commoners was unfolding at the All-American inaugural ball. Hosted in the dusty, carpeted basement of a Hyatt Regency, this gathering had drawn the crowd of Trump supporters who still get their news from Facebook, who had traveled a long way and paid a lot of money to get to the inauguration. Admission was $850 per ticket on Eventbrite. Here there was a sequined American flag garb, goatees, and selfie sticks. "I'm on the Trump train," a hairdresser from Florida squealed to me. "Chugga chugga choo choo." That's true. I agree. That's a different party. The God's honest truth, and a lot of people don't like to hear this, they don't like to accept this because they hate me. Like Jesus Christ, he tells the truth, they hate him for it. A good political movement encompasses good and bad people. Altruistic, sociopathic, whatever. It puts forward a message that is so all-encompassing, so unifying, that even people of poor political and moral disposition fall within it and get united into it. Not as in we kowtow to the sociopaths or the freaks or the evil people, but they get pulled to us. A lot of selfish, mean-spirited people liked Bernie Sanders. And that's not an attack on Bernie Sanders. It's an endorsement of the fact that despite his ideology being strictly humanitarian, you know, well-intended, you know, social democracy, he was appealing enough that a lot of people were able to follow him just because it was cool to. And unfortunately, you're gonna need that if you want to win. It's how Trump's won. We're well past the age of people making, you know, political decisions based on who the newsman tells them is the best possible, you know, choice. We need to embrace a broader mandate. And in a good world, a leftist candidate will have a bunch of Nepo baby sociopaths drinking champagne, spilling it over their shirt, and talking about how cool it is that candidate is winning. It happened with FDR. It happened a lot with FDR. It happened with Obama, too, to an extent. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. And I don't even like Obama, but he was popular enough that there were absolutely a lot of, casts of people who were in that ballpark who acted that way. But Obama's not cool anymore, at least not to enough people for him to win elections. Well, maybe he could win again. He wouldn't solve the problem. He wouldn't solve the problem. He's just another one of them. He's another one. He's another dickless Democrat, institutionalist. The rhetoric only carries so far. Also, he can't run again. Well, yeah, I know. I'm talking like popularity-wise. Does everyone understand what I'm talking about here? A lot of it is just about latching onto adjacent cultural and social signifiers that are speaking to the real thing that they want, which is a feeling of in-group belonging, a desire to appeal to the people around them, and a movement that they feel gives them permission, enthusiasm, gives them like a mandate to live a fun and enthusiastic life. You get that? That's what I take from this article. In a good world, a lot of the people like in there, they would be pro-Bernie. And you know what? Because if Bernie had won, if it was like a Bernie rally, if this was like a Bernie Nepo baby sociopath get-together, you know what? They wouldn't be talking about how their university is 75% women and 23%. The social conditions of the group they're trying to fit in with would have changed. Now they'd be talking about different stuff. Maybe they'd still be abrasive and rude or what have you. Maybe they'd still be, a lot of them would still be kind of bad people, but that wouldn't be their signifier to what they could engage in order to feel cool, to feel like they're fitting in, The Patrick Bateman camo would shift. Patrick Bateman would go from being racist to cool it with the anti-Semitic remarks, okay? You get me? How do you make Patrick Bateman, progressive or reactionary? You change which group of people he's talking to. You change the environment in which he's in. Also, if you're watching this right now and you haven't liked the stream, I do take that as a personal insult. Like the stream, it actually helps. It really does. I know it's trite. Ooh, YouTuber stuff. I know. Like the stream. I bet he's going to make us subscribe soon. Well, yeah, I'd like it if you did. But when you like the stream, it makes the stream more visible to new people. New people come in and they're like, oh my God, is that a samurai 14 ounce per square yard shirt? And then I go, yes, it is. What a beautiful eye you have. Hit the like button. What are you doing with your right hand anyway? Take it off your dick. Come on, put it on the mouse, hit the like button. Ring the bell. Give me $500. Do it. Well, you don't have to, but you should hit the like button.